President Nixon. Do you remember the bills you have to pay, or even yesterday?
Welcome back. It's the Will and Willie Show, pre-election special. I'm Paul Wells, here with Willie Brown and Will Durst, and we're going to do our lightning round.
Uh-oh.
It's questions which you'll each have 60 seconds to answer. And we'll start in this segment on the national level and then go to local state propositions and what's going on locally in California.
I'm up.
San Francisco on the second one. Will the binder full of woman comment sway women to Obama and anyone else not in Romney's country club, like Jews or African Americans? Anybody else? First, to you, Willie Brown.
What do you mean by that?
I got in real
There was the
trouble.
bell.
I got in real trouble because in my column I put, my wife called me immediately and said, "So that's your problem, a binder full of women." I think that was a clear win for Obama because under no circumstances did a binder of women constitute an indication of full equal employment opportunity and equal pay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, that was less than 60 seconds.
that was less than 60 seconds. And you know what it did was it showed how disconnected that he is. I mean, that he would use such a convoluted, kind of a weird phrase, and we asked, and I didn't. First of all, he didn't know any qualified women that he could ask to be in his administration. Apparently, there weren't any at Bain Capital. And second, the fact that it came out afterwards that women's groups came to him with binders, that he didn't really ask for binders, but he had binders full of women. And it sounds like some sort of weird Mormon thing, doesn't it? Binders of women, or they're going to bind their feet or something. It's just not a good phrase. Those two words together, bind and women, a little S&M. Although this is San Francisco, so he might have gotten some votes from here.
You could have binders full of Latinos, binders full of Asians as well. I mean, why would you need a binder to know who those people are? He didn't have any names that would come to his frontal lobes.
Exactly.
Well, when you have not dealt with him on an equal basis, you don't have.
And he's,
Exactly.
The Mormon religion, women?
Well, not traditionally, no.
No.
Question 2. Will Democrats regain control of the Senate? If not, what will happen? Will Republicans lose control of the House? If not, what will happen? This time we'll go first to Will Durst.
They'll come close in Congress, I think. Nancy's drive for 25, I think, come really close. I don't know if they'll actually take the House. I think they're going to lose the Senate because they have to defend 21 out of 33 seats, because this is based on 06, where the anti-Bush, finally kicked in, and so all those senators. So they only have 12. I think they're going to lose the Senate, and I think Romney's going to win the popular vote, and I think Obama's going to win the electoral vote. And then you watch all these Tea Party states try to get rid of the Electoral College. Oh, it's fine in 2000, but you watch this time, they'll actually, we need a constitutional amendment, and that's what I think. And I didn't use my 60 seconds.
I hope you're wrong on all scores. I hope that the popular vote.
Spoken like a true Democrat.
Yes, yeah.
You hope Obama doesn't win the electoral vote?
I hope Obama wins the popular vote and the electoral vote. You're half right on that one.
Okay.
Only, I hope Nancy's drive for 25 succeeds so she gets restored to the speakership. And under no circumstances can the Senate allow itself to come and fall under the hands of the Republicans. Absolutely under no. Can you imagine McConnell being prominent in any way, in any aspect of senatorial leadership and in senatorial movement on policy issues? So, for the first time in a long time, I'm actually going to pray that you're wrong.
It's going to be close, though, in both the House and the
No
Senate.
question it's going to be close.
And Claire McCaskill has a good shot against Aiken. He said something the other day in a debate, something about fetch. Go fetch or something.
He is so bad, though. He is just awful.
And the polls are dead even.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, time's up on that question. Let's go to the next one. And this has to do with where the election is going and where the money is. Does money flooding the campaign due to the Citizens United Supreme Court decision determine the outcome, or will there be a Meg Whitman effect for Governor Romney?
Well, so far, the Meg Whitman effect hasn't revealed itself as it did in the state of California, because there's still some people who are not aware of who's actually financing all these campaigns all over the country. What I'm surprised about, however, is that the awesome expenditure of funds by the United crowd has not dwarfed the expenditure of funds by the pro-Obama people. The pro-Obama people, during the course of this campaign, has actually matched them. At the end, it'll be over $1 billion by each side that's been expended. And believe me, I'm Barack Obama, and I approve of this message. Has been pretty solid all over the country, particularly in key states like Ohio, in Florida, Pennsylvania, in Michigan,
which are all
in
close.
New Hampshire, Virginia, North Carolina. If you go into any of those states, there are no other commercials except those, and believe me, they're not wiping Democrats out on it.
Will.
What's the question? Oh, Citizens United. Yeah, well, the money is a problem. $400 million at least being brought in by Koch brothers and Sheldon Adelson and
Here in California.
Yes, just here. And so I think the money is going to be a problem because you remember that Romney, when Newt Gingrich was rearing his ugly little evil cherub head in what they call low information voter states, and he was doing well near the end of the primary process, Romney went into Florida and outspent Gingrich 17-1 on television ads. 17-1. Pummeled him. Turned an 8-point deficit into an 8-point lead. And that's what he did to Santorum in Michigan and Wisconsin. Threatened to do it in Pennsylvania, Santorum's home state, which would have made him nuclear. You know, he would have been radioactive, never been able to run again in Pennsylvania. So that's when he dropped out. And Romney thought he could do the same thing to Obama, but he can't.
Okay, we covered it. Let's go to the next question. Does the Libya attack and the turmoil in Middle East tilt the table to President Obama or Governor Romney?
Me first? All right, you're on. I think that any time you have any threat that's viewed by ordinary people as to the nation which you represent, the head guy in that nation gets the benefit of the doubt. And if he performs within the framework of what he should do, he gets the advantage. I think in this case, the attack upon Americans in any of those places, including Libya, inures to the benefit of whether or not you get a strong leader demonstrating his talent. In this case, so far, Obama has done that. Unlike Jimmy Carter, who didn't do that when the hostages were grabbed in Iran many years ago, when Khomeini did it, well, Jimmy Carter just didn't respond and Reagan got the advantage. I don't think Romney is capable of doing that this time around.
There was an attempt made by Carter to do a rescue, but our helicopters couldn't handle sand in the engine, so that ended that. Your turn, Will.
I agree.
And by the way, a movie's been made. A movie has just been made.
About
Argo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Argo, which is short for Argo.
Yes.
F yourself. Yeah. I think his mistake that night where he came out and said, because he tried to get his apology thing in, that's one of their themes of the campaign, the Romney campaign, is that Obama's been on an apology tour. So he picked up in that moment in Benghazi and he said, well, you know, they apologized for showing the tape and for America. And I think it reveals him to be craven and using anything for politics, and the American people don't like that. As Mayor Brown said, people want to pull together in times of foreign policy problems, and he blew a perfect chance to seem reasonable.
And you know, the apology comment, that came only from a statement by Karl Rove, the guy from the Republican side, who maintained that it was an apology tour. No evidence of any apology anywhere.
Never said the word sorry. Nothing. Actually, he spoke pretty tough in France. You know, he said that, you know, we've been a good friend and you guys sometimes have not been. And then he won the Nobel Peace Prize, and he gave a pro-war Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, which was odd, but there he goes, thinking outside the box again. Yeah.
And it's amazing, in this whole campaign, there's been no reference to his Nobel
No.
Prize.
Of course, you know, he was nominated. The nominations for that Peace Prize closed 12 days after he was in, so he showed early promise.
Yeah.
Well, it's all coming together for November 6th, and we do urge people to vote. And they're actually on November 1st, there's going to be a League of Women Voters special with all the local candidates, and that'll take us into our next segment, where we'll talk about what's going on for the state propositions and another lightning round on state propositions and local issues here on the Will and Willie Show, pre-election special on TV 20, and also you can listen on KKSF and KNEW and iHeartRadio, and then there's willandwillie.com.
Jesus.
And the willandwillie.com YouTube channel.
There's no reason
Stay
not
with
to
us.
be
We've got
watching
a half
or
a show
listening
to
to this
go
show.
left on TV 20 Cable 13.
Half a show?